Hey everybody, we're going to go on with the second example of a subspace here. So what we have is we have W, which consists of all of the vectors that satisfy this algebraic specification. And once again, if we're going to try and check whether or not W is a subspace, we start out with our first condition, which is whether or not 0 is in W. Once again, whether or not W is a non-empty set. So, W is a subset of R3, so we say the 0 vector would be 0, 0, 0. And does this satisfy the specification? Well, x2 is 0, x1 is 0, thereby 0 is equal to 2 times 0, clearly. So that is satisfied. With this one, we have x3 is equal to 0 and x1 is equal to 0, so 3 times 0 is equal to 0, and this one's also satisfied, thereby 0 is in W. Okay, so that was easy. Let's try the second condition. Okay, so for the second condition, we let there be two vectors which will be in W. So let's make one of these U. And what we know is, so we know x2 equals 2x1 and x3 equals 3x1. So let's let there be a u1. And then we know that the second term in this will be 2u1, and the third will be 3u1. Also, there will be v. V will be equal to v1, 2v1, and 3v1. And we know that both of these are in W since they meet the specification. Now let's add them. So U plus V is going to be equal to, we have U1, 2U1, 3U1, and we are adding V1, 2V1, 3V1. Okay, so we have those. Now, is this an element of W? In other words, does it satisfy the specification? Well, x2 is equal, well, let's write out x2 first. So x2 is 2u1. That u looks horrible. Let me erase that. 2u1 plus 2v1. This is supposed to equal 2x1. So 2x1 is just going to be 2 times u1 plus v1. Clearly, this is true. So we know that that first condition is met. Here, let me just erase that real quick. So let's check that the second condition is met. We have x3. We know that that's equal to 3u1 plus 3v1. And this should be equal to 3x1. So let's take a 3, and then x1 is u1 plus v1. Clearly this is true, so since both conditions are met, we know that the sum of u and v is also in W, thereby the second condition is met. So let me erase this, and then we're just going to go on to the third condition and see if that's true. So the third condition is whether this is closed under scalar multiplication. So in other words, let's say that there is a scalar c, and we will multiply, let's just say that u vector we had from before, we'll multiply c times that u vector. So this is going to be equal to, let's take out all these c's, and what did we have? We had u1, 2u1, 3u1. Okay, and now we're going to see, does this satisfy those conditions? Okay, so x2, which is c 2u1, this should be equal to 2x1. So let's say 2, and then what is x1? That is c1. Clearly this is true. Let's try the second specification. So x3, well, x3 we know is C3U1. That should be equal to 3 times x1, which is CU1. This is also true. Since this has met both specifications, we know then that this is closed under scalar multiplication, and that this third condition and that all conditions have been met, thereby W is a subspace.